was late October, and there was a cruel wind in the night. It was dark and cold. The wind was blowing around everything through the trees, you know, around the building, so it made a lot of noise. Whoosh, whoosh.
Meanwhile, my father was outside transforming the house into my next nightmare. He put dry ice in the front yard and a long black tarp that ran the length of the house. It was a spooky tunnel that you couldn't stand up in, and you had to crawl through, and it was filled with hanging rubber spiders and spider webs and bowls filled with gooey things like raw eggs and mud. If you made it through, you got green lemonade and a pencil, a pad, and a trinket, as they felt that kids got way too much candy, and my dad was a printer. This year, though,
My grandparents on my father's side were Orthodox Jews, very religious. My grandfather went to synagogue every day, walked there on Saturdays. He practically lived there, okay? That's probably what kept his marriage going so long. But I would go over to his house on Saturday to visit them, and they had everything hooked up to timers, okay? So 1 o'clock in the afternoon, the TV comes on so we can watch wrestling on Turner. That's another thing about old Jews. They love wrestling. I have no explanation for that.
The good news and the bad news about the men I meet in October is that it's always over as soon as it begins. They inevitably prove themselves to be wrong for me. A casualty of the season, October roadkill, a bloody stump of a once promising limb, a gory splatter of a... I'm sorry, I got carried away by the squeamish analogies.
I mean, how spiritual could I be? This year I spent a lot of time writing jokes for Fashion Police, a show which basically ridicules the looks of women who aren't me. And guess what? Joan Rivers couldn't believe how mean my jokes were. Yeah. She was shocked.
If you fear losing what you have, you must have it. But you're not enjoying it because you are worrying about losing it. But you have it. That's fear.
The 3-acre round lake had a rope that ran at a 90-degree angle and marked off the right side and the top, so that people who rented paddle boats knew where to go to avoid swimmers. It was in that roped-off area that we'd look over and say, "Oh, look, so cute! A mama and a baby gator swimming right next to it." Once again, it never occurred to us that if there were gators swimming on that side of the rope, there were gators on our side of the road. We never saw them on the top of the water, so we just decided they were smart enough to stay on their side of the divide. Talk about your segregated South.